Hello, welcome to this tropical update. Yesterday evening we got the track for potential tropical cyclone 5. It's out there in the Atlantic, very close to the Lesser Antilles already. Let's see here what they have for it. So first things first, better show the track. It's forecast to turn into tropical storm Ernesto when it enters the Caribbean there, and yeah, basically because that part in white there is like not tropical yet, so it will basically turn into a tropical storm as it enters the Caribbean, and potentially a hurricane pass through Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands. So those blues are tropical storm warnings there for Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, most of the northeastern Caribbean, including like Antigua and Barbuda, and Montserrat, Guadeloupe, Saint Barthélemy, Sebastian, in those areas. So please be careful there. And then later, there's still some uncertainty, but they have this passing like very close or over Bermuda there. So please be watching this very carefully there too. So let's see here. The disturbance is expected to become a tropical storm as it reaches the Leeward Islands. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for most of these islands, where tropical storm conditions are expected to begin late tonight. Heavy rainfall may result in locally considerable flash flooding and mudslides in areas of the Leeward and Virgin Islands later today into Wednesday and over Puerto Rico and late Tuesday into Thursday. A tropical storm warning is now in effect for Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, where tropical storm conditions are expected to begin Tuesday night or early Wednesday. So please be careful there. Let's see. Se espera que la perturbación convierta en una tormenta tropical a medida que alcance las islas de sotavento. Los avisos de tormenta tropical están en efecto para la mayoría de estas islas. Todas se espera condiciones de tormenta tropical comienzan tarde esta noche. Fuertes lluvias pueden causar inundaciones repentinas localmente considerables y deslizamientos de tierra en las islas de Sotavento y las Islas Vírgenes más tarde hoy hasta el miércoles y sobre Puerto Rico hasta el jueves por la noche. Un aviso de tormenta tropical ahora está en efecto para Puerto Rico y las Islas Vírgenes, donde se espera condiciones de tormenta tropical comenzando el martes por la noche o temprano en el miércoles. Good, so it's better read this in Spanish as well, so they have some information. So let's see here. This is the rainfall forecast they put. So 6 inches plus locally in some of those islands like Dominica, Guadeloupe, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua, and some areas there. So like 4 to 6 inches in that yellow, and around 100 to 150 millimeters. So please be careful there. Those can be some dangerous rainfall amounts for the Virgin Islands too, depending on where you're at. Like portions of Barbuda and St. Martin are like 50 to 100 millimeters, but the Virgin Islands are 100 to 150 millimeters, and especially Puerto Rico, there some 6 to 8 inches. Parts of the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico, about 150 to 200 millimeters in parts of Puerto Rico there. So please be careful when this gets there. There might be some flash floods and everything, so please be careful, but there's lower confidence in that area, so let's see. And some in Dominican Republic too, some 2 to 6 inches in some areas, so be careful. About 50 to 100 millimeters. Let's see, in Barbados, 25 to 50 millimeters, St. Lucia, 50 to 100 millimeters, so please be careful there. The tropical storm force wind speed probabilities in the Lesser Antilles are at 20 to 30% in parts of the island, especially Guadeloupe, and some areas further north, like 5 to 10%, and 10 to 20% there. So be aware. Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, more than 30% already, and Bermuda about some 50% already. But let's see the hurricane force wind probabilities. This might increase later, but it's already shows for Bermuda 5 to 10%. Let's see in the 50 knot wind speed probabilities. It's even some near the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, but just to the north, and already some 20 to 30, I think 10 to 20% in Puerto Rico. No, in Bermuda, sorry. In Bermuda and out in the Atlantic, some 30 to 40% already. So be aware in Bermuda later. And yes, so let's see. Here's some warnings. So no sustained winds yet, but you can see the warnings in all those islands there, the tropical storm warnings. So please be careful. Let's see. There's a lot of convection now and storms already. I already showed you the track, and here's the model track guidance. Let's see. Most models are now showing further south, because before it was right in the north, now it's trending south. So let's see, right over Guadeloupe, basically, like Dominica should watch very closely too, and even one or two go just north of Guadeloupe, but mostly is to the south between Guadeloupe and Dominica, so please be careful. But most of the heavy rain totals will be, I think, slightly to the north, as I showed you there, but that whole area should pay attention. Let's see, the GFS ensembles have this a little bit south of Guadeloupe there, and then going between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. Let's see here. So the Canadian ensemble still showing further north, like the northeasternmost Caribbean through the Virgin Islands and then out, and potentially Bermuda, and the potential intensity guidance shows all of those models shows turn into a tropical storm except one, but that's kind of an outlier because all the indications show a tropical storm. So let's see, mostly tropical storm by 36 hours or something like that. Some even have it earlier, and most models except two go to category 1 strength, and most models go to category 2 in the ocean there too, and even to category 3 there in the middle of the Atlantic. So Hurricane Ernesto is coming. Let's see what else. So this is the GFS, the 12C. It has it passing there just south of Guadeloupe in Dominica, and going there through Puerto Rico, the eastern Dominican Republic, and then curving north and going right just west of Bermuda there. Bermuda in the crosshairs, according to the 12C. So the 6C GFS has, let's see, it has the disturbance there. It goes like the 6C had it even further south, and then it goes more through the Dominican Republic, then just east of Bermuda there. So the 0Z had, wait, it had the disturbance there, going like just like from Martinique, Dominica, a little bit south, then the like eastern Dominican Republic, and then curving there just west of Bermuda. So some runs show it east and some runs show it west. So let's see. The European 6C is a short run, but let's see. It still has it further north into like Antigua, Barbuda as a tropical depression, tropical storm. Because 1010 millibars is kind of weak, but it might be stronger than that at that point. Then the tropical storm continues there, and a hurricane in the Atlantic. So the 0Z run had a similar thing. It went there a little bit like through the northeastern Caribbean, north of the GFS, and then through Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and then turned into a hurricane, went right through Bermuda, there in the Atlantic, and then passed very close to Canada, and then went away. So that's the 0Z European. The 12Z from yesterday had this further north than the GFS too, affected Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and went right east of Bermuda there, the 12Z yesterday. So BR, the Canadian has a crossing right, like similar to the European in the northeastern Caribbean there, and then it passes. Let's see, where's Bermuda? So it passes like right through Bermuda too. So the 12Z Canadian and the 0Z Canadian had it there a little bit weak, still passing through the northeastern Caribbean and then strengthening there and going through Bermuda too. So let's see. So a concerning look for the Caribbean and Bermuda, but for now the most urgent impacts are in the Caribbean, and then as this gets closer to Bermuda, we will see better. So this is the Nevgen as it turns into a tropical depression, like tropical storm as it crosses like Guadeloupe and those areas. The northeastern Caribbean goes through Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos, and then curves north. But it has a passing west between the US and Bermuda. So this model is showing a little bit more west, including the Dominican Republic, Turks and Caicos. So be aware. The icon, the different model here, let's see, shows kind of weak, passing just north of Guadeloupe, then still weak by Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, then strengthens more the Atlantic near the Turks and Caicos into a hurricane there in the Atlantic, passing right between the US and Bermuda, just like the Nevgen. So let's see what else. The European. Wait here. So where this is at, it's pretty moist, but we still have some dry air north there. But this will continue and kind of blocking the dry air and managing to pass through there. But let's see. So wait, let's see. Here, let's see. So now there's some favorable wind shear where it's at, but still shows some unfavorable just to the north. So this will go for the Caribbean, still remaining favorable wind shear, but if it goes to that unfavorable there, but I think the wind shear will lessen later because it's forecast to strengthen there, so it will relax later. But let's see here what else here. So this is the European. It has the system there, and that's the low pressure, and that's the wind shear they talked about. It keeps going and kind of breaks through. The wind shear still around it, but there might be some outflow, but then it keeps going and kind of manages to survive. So let's see some hurricane models. So let's see, this is the HRF. Let's see, it has it there, strengthening into a tropical storm, or maybe because that looks like a tropical storm to me, but it might be a tropical depression. But to tropical storm as it gets to those islands, it passes just like through Guadeloupe. I think that's Barbuda maybe, and then Ceiba Station, St. Kitts and Nevis, then goes right through the Virgin Islands and then out to the Atlantic, to a big hurricane. So let's see. And the H1, it has this there, strengthening almost to a tropical storm, but not quite, but like turning to a tropical storm as it passes the Caribbean there. So let's see, it keeps going, passes right near Puerto Rico and goes out there, maybe turns into a hurricane, but it doesn't show it. So the HAFS A has it going there, passing just like very weak through Dominica, south of Guadeloupe, and then keeps going there, passes still very weak through the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as a tropical storm, maybe, and then keeps going there, turns into a hurricane in the Atlantic. And let's see. Wait. Here, so let's see if there's any more. Wait, let's see here. So this is like the GFS, a closer look, turns to tropical depression, tropical storm there, and then goes out into the Atlantic and turns into a hurricane. And then the GFS is again dangerously close to Nova Scotia there in Newfoundland by the end of its life cycle. So let's see. Still some ensembles here. So let's just see until the end. This is the European. They have a passing right through the northeastern Caribbean, like right through Guadeloupe, maybe near Dominica, Antigua, Barbuda, Saint Bartholomew, and Montserrat, St. Kitts and Nevis, and those areas there, right through Puerto Rico, but mostly through the Virgin Islands, just east of Puerto Rico, and then West Bermuda. It's somewhere in the middle of those lines there, but it's like right in the middle of those ensembles, so there's a very high chance this hits Bermuda. So please warn others there, because it's still a lot of days out, so there's still time to warn them, tell them about what's coming, and maybe start some preparations later. So please be careful. The GFS ensembles are kind of messy, but they are showing it kind of weak there. Some ensembles only kickstart this just north there, so it's doing some crazy stuff, but generally they go right there just south of Guadeloupe, go north into Puerto Rico near the Dominican Republic. Some go to the Bahamas, but maybe, but you never know. You'll most likely just curve north there, but just like with Debbie, that was forecast to go east and it went west because of the size of the ridge. So you never know, but keep an eye if you are there. But you generally just curve north, and it shows Bermuda in the middle there, and it's potentially showing some other systems trying to get up in the Gulf later by August 22nd, but only 2 members are showing that, and it's far out. Take as a grain of salt, and still something trying to get going near Africa later. And let's see here what else. So now it's almost forming, so there's no big reason to show this, but let's show this. So it's like tropical cyclone genesis probability, so like the probability of a tropical storm forming. So let's see. So it's already some 80 to 90% tropical storm probabilities just north of Puerto Rico, and already some 10 to 20% chance in the islands there. And by what the track shows, this might already be a tropical storm as it crosses there. So let's see. And then those probabilities keep going there, get to 100% chance of a tropical storm there in the middle of the Atlantic. Then it keeps going, Bermuda already growing in probability, some 30% chance, and by August 18th, Sunday, Bermuda already some 60 to 70% chance there. So, and later some 70 to 80%, but the probabilities will start to go down because this will be already formed, so there will be no cyclone genesis anymore because this will be already formed. So, but it might scrape at Atlantic under there, and let's see. Just tropical depression probabilities more than 100% in all of those islands from Dominica and north. all of the northeastern Caribbean, Puerto Rico, 100% chance by Thursday. This is Thursday, August 15th. 100% chance of tropical depression there. And then it continues through Puerto Rico, 100% chance the Virgin Islands. And then even the Eastern Dominican Republic, around 90% chance. Then it keeps going, still 100% chance there for tropical depression forming. Then it starts to decrease because it will be already formed. It might pass very close to Canada. And later, by August 23rd, some more signs kickstarting there in Africa, maybe some other tropical waves, and even some 5% there in the Caribbean again, maybe some systems later. So this is tropical cycles. Let's put hurricane probabilities. So August 15th, nothing, but by August 16th, some 5 to 10% hurricane probabilities there in the middle of the Atlantic. Then it grows some 40 to 50% hurricane probabilities in that green there. So there's some high probabilities for hurricane potential there. Then it keeps growing. Now the 18th, Bermuda in a 50 to 60% hurricane probabilities. It keeps going, and then it goes out there. So yeah, please be careful. And let's see here. So this is tropical storm strike probabilities. So for this system, like August 12th through August 19th, it shows greater than a 70% chance of a tropical storm striking those areas of the Atlantic, and the northeastern Caribbean like 5 to 30% chance there. But there's likely already be a tropical storm there as it reaches Puerto Rico and everything. So and then by Bermuda, so high probabilities too. Let's put tropical depression strike probabilities. So there's already 100% chance of a tropical depression striking those areas, the northeastern Caribbean, Dominican Republic, some 80% chance or 90, and more areas there, and all the way some 5% chance to the Windward Islands further south. So and then later this keeps going there, and some other probabilities come off Africa of tropical depression strike. Then by the last week of August, it shows some 40 to 50% in the Atlantic of tropical depression, and maybe more stuff later. So now if I put hurricane strike probabilities, so let's see. Let's wait, the Atlantic, global, here. So let's see, still nothing, but it doesn't show anything here. This will turn into a hurricane there in the Atlantic, but surprisingly it doesn't show a hurricane strike probability there. Maybe because it won't strike anyone, it will just be a hurricane in the Atlantic, but Bermuda's there too, and they don't have any probabilities. So that's kind of weird, but this will definitely be a hurricane there. So let's see some. First, I already showed you some rainfall estimates from the Hurricane Center, but let's see some different models. They have, let's start south, they have some 30 millimeters and something the next 5 days around Trinidad and Tobago, 20 millimeters and something, Barbados 40 millimeters, and we already had some flash flood warnings in Barbados today there because of showers and storms from the bends of this system. So be aware low-lying areas of those islands, and then further north, Dominica some 40 millimeters, but might be more. 60 millimeters, let's see, 71 millimeters, 80 millimeters. Margot, some 88 millimeters. Some areas there, some 80, 70 millimeters. And more in parts of the Cayman Islands, more than 100 millimeters. Puerto Rico, but their rainfall estimates showed higher than this, like almost more than 100 millimeters in those areas, but it depends on the model too. But the GFS has almost 100 millimeters in Martinique. It has, let's see, Dominica more than 80 millimeters, 60, 70 millimeters. Let's see, it has a little bit less for the north, but I still think most of the rain will be from Guadeloupe to the north. but if this goes south, like the GFS is showing, there'll be more rain there to the south. Is showing also St. Vincent and the Grenadines, some 40 millimeters. Let's see, 20 millimeters, 40 millimeters in Barbados, St. Lucia, some 50 millimeters. Let's see, it shows especially like western Puerto Rico, more than 100 millimeters there. The next 5 days, 99 millimeters, 70. The Virgin Islands, it shows 38, 40 millimeters, but basically all the models except the GFS have this going through the Virgin Islands, so I think there'll be a lot more than this for the Virgin Islands. But Eastern Dominican Republic, more than 100 too. Might be some heavy rain floods there too. Let's see. The icon has just generally, the icons doesn't have anything specifically, but showing like 40 millimeters, 35. That's too low, I think. I think there'll be more rain than that. But let's see, just in the next 36 hours, there's this high resolution model. Just in the 36 hours, it shows more than 157 millimeters in Dominica, close to 60 millimeters in Guadeloupe. So this high resolution model is really going on the rain there. So the next 5 days, the European barely has 100 millimeters there, and this model already has more than 100 just in the next 36 hours. So it's really hard to predict the exact rainfall amounts, but please be careful in those areas. Might be landslides, some floods and stuff, so please be careful. Barbados too, some more rain, parts of Grenada, so be careful there. Let's see what else. So now some waves. It shows some bigger waves are right there. There are some high surf advisories and warnings there in those islands. For the system, shows some 3-meter waves, close to 4 meters there as it passes. But this is the European. The GFS has it further south, but still it has the biggest waves further north there, close to 3 meters. So as it passes Puerto Rico too, close to 4 meters there, and the Virgin Islands as well. So be careful there. And then later, let's see, as it goes towards Bermuda, shows some very high surf there. So please be careful later. So let's see, some wind gusts. It shows, so it'll still be kind of weak as it passes through there, but already some 59 kilometers per hour winds. Let's see, some gusts 50, 51 kilometers. Depends if this goes north or south, but let's see later. It keeps going, and by Tuesday another band of gusty winds throughout Martinique, Dominica, and some other areas. But then later, as this strengthens, it shows close to 70 kilometers per hour in the Virgin Islands, so gusts, so please be careful. And Puerto Rico, it shows more than 80 kilometers per hour gusts there, so going through Puerto Rico, so please be careful. Let's see, the European is showing most winds, the worst winds further north, some 60 to 70 kilometers per hour in the northernmost islands, shows some 50 kilometers in other areas. Later, by Tuesday, some gusty winds near Barbados as well, more in St. Lucia, Martinique, and further north, Guadeloupe, and all those other islands. So very gusty winds. This keeps going. It crosses the islands there, potentially some higher winds there as it crosses the islands, and then it goes and really increases in the Virgin Islands there. more than 70 kilometers per hour. But this is just one model, and every model has this at a different strength. So these winds might be higher than this there. Some gusts potentially to 80 and 90 kilometers per hour in an area or two there. So be careful no matter what. Let's see something else. So please be careful with that system. That wind and those waves I just showed you, they will cause storm surge and coastal flooding into those islands as well. So please be careful there along the coast as well. And let's see now some rain for the rest of the Caribbean, and please stay safe there. So let's see in next 5 days in Cuba, still some more rain in some areas, mainly from thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening. Central western Cuba, Jamaica shows a little bit more, some 17 millimeters to 25. Mainly there might be some afternoon storms there. Through Haiti, the Dominican Republic might be some influence of Ernesto, but it also shows some heavy rain parts of the mountain. Might be some thunderstorms there too. So please be careful, especially in the mountains. Let's see, Panama shows more rain there. 50 millimeters, maybe some more storms during the day, some showers, so be careful as well. Especially Costa Rica shows more than 80 and 70 millimeters in parts of southern Costa Rica. Maybe some heavier thunderstorms, some more rain. Generally, it will rain in all of Costa Rica. Let's see. It shows more Nicaragua, especially eastern Nicaragua, some 30 to 40, 50 millimeters there. Since central Nicaragua, a little bit less, but more near the Pacific there. Into Honduras, more in northeastern Honduras, might be some more storms. And southern Honduras there shows a lot, close to some 80 millimeters in other areas of Honduras there. In El Salvador, some 50 millimeters in the next 5 days, but depending on the model, this changes a lot. Guatemala, some 70 millimeters near the Pacific in those mountains, so please be careful. For 45, 41 millimeters. Especially southern Belize shows 70 millimeters, might be some more storms there, so be aware. In other areas of Belize too, some more showers and storms. Southern Mexico especially in those areas here of almost 100 millimeters there. Los Angeles, Estación Juliana, so please be careful. Those areas more strong thunderstorms and showers during the day. Might bring flash flood or choose. Let's see, western Mexico, southern Mexico shows a lot. Basically all through western Mexico, a shower through in other areas, but more tropical rains and thunderstorms for western Mexico. So be careful, there's still some more heavy rains and everything. So western Colombia, northern Colombia a little bit heavier, more central Venezuela and some other areas. The ABC Islands, not much. And let's see, the Bahamas, a little bit more showers and some storms possible during the day. Florida, so be aware, nothing crazy. In the next 5 days, still some showers in the Cabo Verde, but nothing big. You get you get worse around Sierra Leone, Guinea-Bissau, and those areas. As those tropical waves come off, they show more than 200 millimeters in the next 5 days for those coasts of Western Africa. So please be careful there too. Let's see. So stay safe from that system there and warn others. So here you can see the system crossing and all those heavy rains and storms, also through the southern windward as well. The thunderstorms in Central America during the day and everything, Cuba, Jamaica. So stay safe and warn others.